Lucky Boys Podcast.
I was a stockbroker. I told you that. And for a short time, I had built a team underneath us, broker trainees, and I completely sabotaged it because I would give them incentives of weed. I would give them marijuana whenever they would do something good, and then they would all get stoned, and then they would be completely unproductive.
It would have the opposite effect.
Well, at first they were like, "Oh, I want to get that blunt before lunch."
Yeah.
And it worked, and then they'd get stoned, and then they would do nothing.
Maybe the weed was the wrong drug to give.
Yeah, it should have been an upper. It probably should have been an upper, right? Yeah.
That's what you should have done. Meth would have been a great equalizer.
Hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah.
I'll know for my next life. I'll do that.
I mean, isn't that like the drug of choice in the trading floor? Isn't that?
I think it's cocaine.
Yeah. Is it?
It's the powder.
Listen, we were kids, so like I'm talking about like when I'm like 22 years old, and the kids who were working for me were probably like 20, 19. Like we weren't like the kind of broker guys you see going out.
Boiler room, that type.
But kind of, yeah, boiler room ish. But we weren't on that level where you see like, going out and sniffing coke all night and banging. We were still kind of kids. We wanted to get to that level.
Yep.
We could only afford weed at that point. We couldn't afford cocaine.
What? I actually know a few people, when they smoke weed, they're perfectly functional.
Yeah.
Like they're like hyper productive still.
Yeah, no, I'm functional when I'm stoned.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're one of those?
Yeah,
you guys are? Yeah. Like I met so many people, and I'm just like, I find it mind-boggling that they can still function, because when I did it, I don't want to do anything.
Right.
I get super like relaxed, laid back.
Well,
I just want to chill and laugh.
Kevin won't get high before he gets on stage. Usually, like he won't smoke.
I try not to.
I do it occasionally, but it's self-sabotaging also. Like you can't like you'd think like, oh, I'm gonna be really funny now because I'm stoned.
Right.
The only way I made it work is when I just acknowledged it. Like when I once got really stoned and then the show started. You remember when your uncle's friend came, Smokey, and he lit me up on some joint from like 1978, and I started fucking. And I smoke weed, but now I'm like fucking hallucinating because this shit was like too strong. You had that old school like fermenting in a closet somewhere, and I got too stoned. The show started. I was like, shit, I'm high as fuck.
Damn.
And I got on stage, and you know what I did? I couldn't do any of my set because I couldn't even remember my jokes. I couldn't find them in my head. I just talked about this guy Smokey for the next 5 minutes and how he got me too stoned to do comedy, and it killed. It was funny. When you acknowledge the bomb that's happening, it's
usually sometimes
it's funny.
Sometimes you'll get a guy that's bombing, and like he acknowledges it
too much.
Not only does he acknowledge it too much, but he's like, yeah, you guys don't know what you're talking about. But like he does it in a way that's not funny. And it's like, oh, now we all have to either address this or ignore it as if it never happened.
Yeah, is that weird following up someone after they do a set like that?
And they bomb?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's fantastic.
Oh, you love it?
There's nothing better than that.
You know what? Yeah, that's like.
But it depends. It depends.
Listen, you can kill the room.
That's like a cheerleader hanging out with like a fat, ugly, like chick in high school, whatever. Like and it makes her look. What was this girl told me? She said she would hang out with fat girls because it made her look skinny.
Better. See, that's it's. I like it. I like when someone bombs before because it's like it seems like a good opportunity because you can make fun of them and make fun of yourself. But that backfires sometimes because they've already killed the room, and people people if they're not in the mood to laugh.
That's what I was thinking. I would figure like
it happens.
Like instead of getting the crowd warmed up, they did the exact opposite. They made them like super analytical. And when you're going to a comedy show, you can't go there with analytical mind.
Right. You got to go there ready to fucking.
Yeah.
There's a story. I got a story. When I was in DC, I went there. My buddies, I always put them on shows in New York. Right?
It's a good story.
And he goes, he's co-producing with someone I've never met before. I go there, there's 90 people in the audience. For a guy who's not a headliner or anything like that, that's amazing. There's no headliners on the show. The fact that there's 90 people who paid to be there was amazing to me.
Yeah.
We in the comics had their own VIP area. It was one of the dopest shows I was ever a part of until one of the co-producers went on stage.
What happened?
He goes on stage. He does this weird joke. At first I'm thinking, this guy's gonna be amazing. He goes, Marco! And 90 people scream, Polo!
Okay.
Right? I'm like, that was cool. He does it again. He does it 4 more times. And I'm like, either this is gonna murder or this is gonna be the best bomb of all time. He goes at the 5th time, 3 people said Polo, and he goes, those are the 3 people I'm gonna murder later.
What?
Right? No one laughs.
What the hell?
Right? He goes, okay, you guys don't want to laugh at that? He does another joke. No one laughs again because they're still. Everybody started just conversing about this guy just go Marco Polo 5 times
and then threaten our lives.
No. Hold on. Let's say that. So then he does a joke. It bombs. He goes, "You motherfuckers don't know what's fucking funny. I will fuck you up. You guys want to meet me outside?"
Oh,
was he serious?
Shit.
Not only
He had to be coked up.
dead serious.
He
I don't
had
know
to
if
be
he was coked up.
You can't be in a normal state of mind.
Now I'm thinking, is this an act? I'm looking around. All the other comics are like this. They like have they're like, and I'm like, is this his?
This is act.
Right? By the way, 7 more comics left. He's not the last comic, and I still have to go up.
Oh, it's early in the show.
Early in the show.
Wait, 7 comics left?
Left. Like there's 7 more people up.
Oh, and
after
7
him.
left.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm looking. I'm like, the crowd. He finally gets off stage.
But tell him what he was talking shit about the guy the whole time.
I was talking shit. I'm like, who
He was
the
like,
fuck
"Yo, this is awful. What is this guy retarded?" Meanwhile, he was saying all this in front of
front
the
of his
guy's
girlfriend.
girlfriend who was standing right next to him.
And she was like, I should have known something because she was like, he's just working on material right now. So
It's a show, bitch.
and I'm like, hey, yeah, sure, but like also don't threaten the crowd.
Yeah.
How about that, right? So another comic goes up after 2 comics before I go up. None of them mentioned anything that just happened. He was doing push-ups on stage. He was doing burpees. Like,
Damn, this
I've
dude's
never
intense.
seen anything like this before, right? No one addresses it.
He's got a good girlfriend. Damn, most girls would leave.
Yo, this girl must have been on something. So no one addresses it, and I'm like, I gotta talk. No one in the crowd is paying attention. They're talking to people's sets and like, yo, no one's paying attention at this point. I go up there. The comic before me was pretty good, so she was able to like focus it back on stand up. And I go up there, but they were still rowdy, and I just addressed what happened. I was like, I don't know what I said. I can't even fucking tell you. I said something like, imagine if I just start working out right now on stage, and I started doing push-ups
Did you
and
say
shit.
Marco? You should have said Marco.
Yo, no, killed it.
And they went nuts, by the way. They went nuts, because all they wanted was someone to address what just
Yeah, you got
happened.
to address it, man.
So they go nuts. I do my set. They're laughing. And then I forgot a joke. So what I do, I went right back to the well. And I started like, all right, man, it's time for these push-ups. And they start dying again. I close my bit out. I leave, not even a step off the stage. Again, he's a co-producer. Beeline towards me. Ooh. And he's like, I'm talking about, I got off stage. Everyone can see us. He's like, you're going to make fun of another comic on stage?
Was he in the fucking WWE?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is Comic Man Randy Sapp. Yo, dog,
And what was your reply?
So I'm like, hey, buddy, what did you expect me to do? Right? And he's like, you don't fucking do that. You don't fucking do that. But now,
Wait, is that a cardinal sin?
No.
No.
Fuck that
not
shit.
if you bomb that hard.
Okay. So no one's safe. Like
listen,
a comic.
if someone has a decent, set on stage, you're not going to bash it. But if the guy goes up there and there's a real big awkward fucking occurrence, yeah, you're going to fucking talk
You gotta
about
mention it, right? And it's cold. It's like bro code. Like you knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you kind of had it coming.
You had it coming. Yeah. So, and I was even surprised the other comics didn't do it, but now I know why they didn't do it.
Because they're doing his show. They don't want to get kicked out.
They don't want to get kicked out, but I don't give a fuck. Also, by the way, he doesn't know this. I have a crazy mixed martial artist brother looking at the situation, and 7 of my old army buddies in the crowd.
Were they there?
Yeah, they were there.
That's
a
great.
few of them were there.
His brother could have fought everybody.
By
in
the
the room
way-
by
Wait,
himself.
but was he trying to fight you, the guy?
Well,
He
I
was
was
getting
like,
in his face.
he was getting in my face.
This was on stage, so everyone's seeing this.
No. He let me finish my set.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a step off stage.
Oh, okay,
and
so
he
behind.
came up so people could see this happening.
People could see it happening. The host is like looking at her. She doesn't know what to do.
I would have moonwalked back into the stage. And we're like, Marco, Yeah, and I would have roasted him even more. Fuck that. I would have like, yo, come out here. I got something.